Okay, so, real quick, before you eat your next chocolate bar, I need you to understand something your teacher absolutely did not tell you. That thing you love? It started as a blood offering to the gods. By the end of this video, you're going to know three things. 1. Where chocolate actually came from, and it is not where you think. 2. The hidden word mystery inside the name chocolate that scholars are still fighting about right now. 3. What chocolate is doing to your brain every single time you eat it. And hey, before we go any further, drop a comment right now. Do you think chocolate was actually discovered by the Aztecs? Just say yes or no. We'll come back to that in a second because, well, basically everyone gets this wrong. Because here's what nobody talks about. The real chocolate story is 5,000 years old. It starts in a place that wasn't even on most historians' radar until 20 years ago. And it involves a culture so ancient, we barely know what to call them. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing we gotta blow up is this idea that chocolate started in Mexico. Everyone says it. Textbooks say it. Fancy chocolate wrappers say it. But that's not quite right. The oldest confirmed evidence of cacao domestication, people deliberately growing the cacao tree, dates back to around 3,300 BCE in what is now Ecuador. The culture responsible? They're called the Mayo-Chinchipe, and I promise you, almost nobody teaches this. Here's the wild part though. The Mayo-Chinchipe were not eating the beans. They were eating the fruit pulp around the beans, that sweet, white, tropical flesh. The actual bean, the thing we make chocolate from, was basically being thrown away. So the Olmec, who dominated southern Mexico from about 1900 to 400 BCE, they figured out fermentation, roasting, grinding. But the drink they made? Bitter, spicy, frothy, zero sweetness, and it was not for everyone. This was for priests, warriors, and royalty only. You had to earn the right to drink chocolate. Real quick, I need a comment from you right now. If someone handed you chocolate as it was originally made, bitter, spicy, zero sugar, served hot, are you drinking it? Comment yes or pass below. I'm reading every one. Okay, back to it. Okay, so I told you there was a word mystery buried inside the name chocolate. I wasn't kidding. Because the story you've probably heard about where that word comes from, turns out it's almost certainly wrong. You've probably heard that chocolate comes from the Aztec word chikolatl, meaning bitter water. You can find that on Wikipedia, on fancy chocolate wrappers, in school textbooks, and it is probably not accurate. Here's why. Scholars examined actual Nahuatl texts, that's the Aztec language, and found that chikolatl barely appears anywhere. And chocok, supposedly meaning bitter, in Nahuatl, it actually means sour. Chocolate isn't sour. The whole thing falls apart. The more likely origin? A Nahuatl word, chikolatl. And chikoli was the name for a hooked stick used to beat and froth the drink, plus atl, meaning water. Chikolatl, frothy, beaten water. And that makes total sense, because for these civilizations, the froth was the point. Now the word cacao? That one comes straight from the Mayan word cacao, and the Maya, peaking between 250 and 900 CE, they didn't just drink cacao, they built an entire theology around it. The cacao god, temple murals, buried their dead with it, born into the world with it. Then the Aztecs took it even further. Cacao beans were literal currency, money. 1 turkey, 100 cacao beans. A tamale, 3 beans. Emperor Montezuma kept storehouses of cacao beans as part of the imperial treasury. They were basically printing money with a plant. Cacao was offered to Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god, who supposedly gifted it to humanity. Warriors drank it before battle. Priests drank it in ceremony. This was not snack food. This was what I'd call sacred technology. Okay, everybody loves to say Hernan Cortés brought chocolate to Europe. Cool story, but there is no credible historical evidence that Cortés transported cacao back to Spain. Historians who've actually studied this, like Sophie and Michael Coe in The True History of Chocolate, say it flat out. The more historically supported version? In 1544, that's 20-some years after Cortés first arrived in Mexico, a delegation of actual Quechua Maya nobles from Guatemala traveled to Spain and presented Prince Philip with containers of beaten chocolate. That is the credible moment Europe first met cacao. And then Spain kept it secret, like aggressively secret. For nearly 100 years, cacao was the obsession of the Spanish royal court only, sweetened with colonial sugar, spiced with cinnamon, and the rest of Europe had absolutely no idea it existed. Now, here's the thing. For its entire history up to this point, chocolate was just a drink. 3,000 years of liquid. And then, in the 1800s, two things happened that changed everything. Industrial chemistry arrived, and a Dutch guy with a machine. 1828. Dutch chemist Conrad van Houten invents the cocoa press, separating cocoa butter from solid. 1847. J.S. Fry and Sons mix it back together as a solid, first chocolate bar. 1875. Daniel Peter and Henri Nestlé add condensed milk, milk chocolate. 1900. Milton Hershey industrializes it. 5,000 years of history, and it takes 60 years in the 1800s to become what you know today. Now, the science bit, because this explains everything about why ancient civilizations were so obsessed with cacao. It contains a compound called theobromine. The tree's actual scientific name? Theobroma cacao, named by Carl Linnaeus. It literally means food of the gods. Theobromine is like caffeine's chill older brother. Same family of molecules, but instead of jitters and a crash, it gives you calm, sustained alertness. Mild heart rate boost, better blood flow, a warm, low buzz. So the ancient priests and warriors weren't wrong. They were pharmacologically right. Theobromine elevated mood, enhanced endurance, opened something in the nervous system. They drank it before battle and ceremony. You drink it at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday when you can't face your inbox. The delivery mechanism is different. The wrapper is definitely different. But the impulse? Absolutely identical. Chocolate is not candy. Chocolate is the world's oldest pharmacological obsession, dressed up in a shiny wrapper and sold for $1.50 at a gas station. 5,000 years. Ecuador, to the Olmec, to the Maya, to the Aztecs, to Spain, to the Industrial Revolution, to your pocket. Next time you unwrap one, take a second. You're holding all of human history in your hands. If this one hit different, smash like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.